you know, tonight's planning board meeting is on Milford Cable TV. With that, I will entertain a motion for
Make a
meetings of our
motion
last
for the,
minute.
I'll make a motion for the minutes with the corrections.
Corrections as indicated. Motion by Pat to accept the meeting minutes from the May 7th meeting,
I'll second that.
seconded by John. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous of 4. We'll also entertain a motion for the special meeting held last night, Monday, May 20th.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Motion by John to accept the minutes,
I'll second it.
seconded by Lena. All those in favor? 3
Aye.
in favor, 1 abstention.
There were only 3 of us there.
That's
I
why
know,
I'm
it's
abstaining.
That's 3 in favor, 1 abstention. Although he could actually vote in favor of the meeting minutes, it's only procedural. There's no 81Ps. We'll go somewhat out of order and take the amended site plan for 340 East Main Street is the first item.
Should have been putting that stuff up. He's the one that was in the big hurry.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks. Nice color.
Thanks, Peter.
I don't know.
Good evening, my name's Peter Lavoy. I work with Gary on Halnon. I'm here tonight representing Brian Chang. The project is located,
Okay, Peter, can you move that over to it too, so that way?
Okay.
Raise it up.
The project is located at 340 East Main Street. It's the old Docks Restaurant. So we have an existing 10,000 square foot building, which is this dark brown color. And then we have associated parking, existing associated parking around that structure. We have existing sewer that goes out this way. Also, the water service comes in this location here. We have an existing gas service that comes in, and then electric that services the building in this location here. We have the IBIC line that runs through the parcel. That's what this pink line is. So what we're proposing to keep the 10,000 square foot restaurant and to add an 8,000 square foot addition, which would be retail spaces in this location right here. We did rearrange the parking. So now we have roughly 163 parking spaces with that rearrangement. Also, what we did is for drainage, we added some stormwater management to the parcel. Right now, there is no stormwater management at all. So all this pavement goes into existing catch basins without being treated and into a basin E in the back, as well as basin F on the side in this location. So what we did is we added 2 particle separators in the back here to collect first flush, and then it's redirected into the same location as well. And then in the front, we have 2 catch basins here and an additional catch basin here. We're adding a storm scepter prior to discharge into this basin. And then we are taking the proposed addition, and the downspouts are going to be tied into a recharge basin in this location here. So we're not increasing any impervious. The structure is being constructed over impervious area now. We have been in front of conservation. They did close the meeting and approve the plan. I had to show snow storage on the plan, which I did. You should have it on the site, the latest site plan. We do show snow storage if they require as much outside the buffer. So we're showing snow storage in this area, and then in this area on this side. We do have roughly 25 parking spaces extra, so we can put snow storage within some of the parking areas, so that was the only condition that we had to address for conservation.
Thanks, Peter. I'll go through the department. Letters from the town planner. Applicant requests a site plan amendment to allow for 8,000 square foot single-story addition to the existing building on the subject property. Existing parking lot is to be expanded and modified to provide improved access and on-site circulation. The existing 10,000 square foot bar is being converted to a restaurant use, and the addition will accommodate retail use. It should be noted that the assessor's record showed the address for this property is 324 East Main Street. There are 163 parking spaces being proposed, 140 required. All other applicable zoning requirements appear to be met. Therefore, I recommend the amended site plan be approved, subject to department comments. Letter from the town engineer. I reviewed the amended site plan request filed on behalf of the owner of 340 East Main Street, the assessor sheet 342. For redevelopment project, the request is to waive site plan review for the proposed project. Includes construction of 8,000 square foot building addition, new stormwater collection and treatment structures, and repaving existing parking lot. The site is approximately 110,000 square feet. As the site is more than 1 acre in size, the construction will be subject to the construction phase stormwater management permit. There are no other engineering concerns associated with the project, therefore I recommend approval of the amended site plan. Conservation Commission notice of intent has been filed with the Conservation Commission. Public hearing was held on the 6th, as Peter had indicated. We don't, that was the last in the Conservation Commission that we got. Commission on Disabilities. Table on sheet 3 shows 6 accessible parking spaces with aisles, but layout only shows 5 spaces. Sheet 3, the proposed accessible parking signs in front of the existing structures be shifted left to be in alignment with the parking spaces and not the access aisles. The access parking sign post to be placed in or behind bollards capable of withstanding vehicular contact. A note be added indicating that all exterior entrances, and that's not gonna happen. Wording on violation signing, handicap parking sign details, sheet 6 to be limited to first offense, $125 fine, or comparable Milford by Law Act 22 as amended. Did you change the other stuff, Peter?
I did change all of them except the note.
Yeah, the note won't, yeah, the note is not part of our purview, it's a building department requirement. Milford Water Company sees no conflicts or issues posed to the existing water utility infrastructure approved as submitted,
That's it.
and that's it. Just confirm it. Any questions from the board?
Anything from the sewer department?
There's nothing in the package.
We are on their,
Although it was-
we are on their agenda for the 28th.
Okay.
It was that type of use, so there shouldn't be an issue, but we can obviously wait for
Make a
that.
contingent on that.
Fire.
Any, and nothing from the fire department?
The only, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
the only couple questions I have is the placement of the dumpster pad. I don't know how practical it is. Most of those trash trucks, front loading, they're approximately 40 feet long. You got a 38-foot access, and then it's enclosed in a fenced-in area. I don't know if that's practical and they can actually get in there with the swing.
I was thinking that they would roll them out.
Yeah, I'd prefer to see them at a different location, because I don't think that's practical. I don't think that that's what's actually going to happen.
Okay. And that's where they are. They are currently in that location as
And I don't know how thriving that business is at its present configuration, so I prefer to see them located in a separate area that's easily accessible. The other thing that if I recall correctly, I think some time ago, they had came and got a special permit for an outdoor patio, which I don't see on this plan at all.
That's gone.
It is
Yeah,
gone?
it's being removed. Yeah, it's sitting on the pavement. It's not a structure.
Okay, but that is gone.
That will be gone, yes.
And relative to the proposed snow storage areas, I guess just a fundamental question. Two things. I think I'd rather see them in a defined area rather than having 3 separate, because 3 separate ends up turning into 5 small piles that turn into 12 big piles. You know what I'm saying? And then my only other question about that in the location is, wouldn't you want, for when it melts, wouldn't you want them to be able to go through the particle separator to get rid of all the debris that's generally occurs?
Well,
during
eventually it would get to the catch basin. I mean, I have two in this area here, and this parking lot drains this way, so it's gonna go to this catch basin here,
I'm sorry, I was looking over here. I thought you
in the
only had
back
one.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying,
Oh, okay. I think I'd rather see the winter,
in
snow
one,
storage
just to here.
in that area. I think I would prefer to see, because that way you know when it does melt, it is going to be.
Right, I just wanted to do on both sides, because of plowing, I don't plow, so that's why I put it in two different
And Babe's
places.
not here, and he would tell you that, but the reality of it is, if that's the designated area, it works for everybody else, then that's, fortunately where it would have to be.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm more concerned about the particles and so on and so forth, because, I mean, you go to some of these lots, and when it all melts, the debris that's left behind is just, like, God knows where it comes from, but those are my only concerns.
Any other comments from the board?
Yep.
Is that a grease trap out in back, Peter, off of the,
There is a grease trap. This is the grease trap here, and then that's the pump chamber. They're both 5,000 gallons.
Just a comment relative to the snow storage. The two particle separators are in the back of the lot, inside the buffer zone, and the Concom's one request was that all snow storage be outside of the buffer zone. So-
Well, again, that's
so
why
he's-
I prefer it to be
so
up in the front of the
there's one
building.
particle separator up front?
There's a storm
That's
scepter
where
in
I'd
the front
prefer
corner.
the snow to go.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so these two you want removed from the
Correct, I
plan.
want it to be in the front. And I want to, I'd like to see a more definitive area for the dumpsters. One that's more practical. And again, you said you had 25 extra spots. If the case be that you're putting it someplace that, and inevitably you're taking away a parking spot or two, I think that would be ideal.
Okay.
Do you have along the, are there entrances along the back of the building, Peter?
There are inches along back here, and then there's a overhead door in this location here. So it would have to be probably on this side, because the original site plan showed a dumpster over here, and it's too far away for the people to get there, so I would have to put it probably in the back two spaces.
And forgive me, this is the comedy of it. If it's too far for somebody to walk, you expect a garbage collector to get out of the truck and move them. I mean, this is why it becomes impractical. That's why, let's do
No,
it
it's
right.
two-way traffic, so they could come in and pull into these spaces here, and
That's
then
what I'm
back out
thinking.
and leave. I
Okay.
can just move that, I'll move them.
So just continue till the next meeting, or?
What's the pleasure of the board? We don't have the letter from the sewer department, or we can,
Why don't we continue to the next meeting?
We can do that. I don't have any, again, provided that the snow collection area be defined at the front, provided that you get a letter from the sewer board, and provided that, and the fire chief, and that you relocate the dumpster pads to that area, I don't have any objections. So, I mean, I'll be more than happy to make a motion subject to those 4 conditions. 2 letters, one from the fire chief, one from the sewer board, and the designation of the snow collection area and the dumpster pad.
motion by Pat to approve the amended site plan, subject to, letter from the sewer department, letter from the town engineer, moving of the dumpster pad and locating the snow storage to the one area in the
Recharge.
front corner, in the southwest corner of the site.
I'll second
Letter
that.
from the fire chief.
Yeah, we did say that.
I thought it said town
Sounds
engineer.
reasonable.
Did I? If I did, I misspoke.
Oh,
Yeah.
I meant the fire.
Sewer, fire, snow, and dumpster.
Seconded by Lena. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous at 4.
Thank
So I'll
you.
get the letters, Peter, and we'll sign it next time we're in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just a second.
Peter, you want these back?
I'll take them if you don't want them.
I'm gonna do this.
thanks, Pete.
throw this thing
This
in the
is
throw-up.
not on the agenda, but I wanted to just take this and just wanted the opinion of the board. On our last meeting, the Countryside
Geriatrics.
the former Geriatric Authority Countryside came to us with site plan. And the one thing that was missing was that we wanted was a letter from the sewer board. Since that time, we've received minutes of sewer board meeting on September 25th of 2012, which 9 months ago or so. As the sewer department indicated, they didn't feel they needed to send us a letter because I will read to you what was in their meeting minutes. Mr. Chilla presented to the Board of Commissioners with a building lot overlay for an addition and renovation to Building 1 of the Geriatric Authority, an existing facility that will result in a net increase of 24 beds. Mr. Chilla stated that they intend to demolish Building 2, which previously had 47 beds. The existing permit allows the facility a total of 109 beds. When they demolish Building 2 and remove Building 1, and renovate Building 1, excuse me, there will be a net decrease of 23 beds. The net removal of 23 beds will not cause any increase in sewer usage. The Geriatric Authority is looking for the board's permission to take down Building 2 and to expand current Building 1. Mr. Leosh and the commissioners stated that they have looked into the flow rates with Tater and Howard, and the renovations will have a minimal impact on the sewer system. Checking with Town Council Moody, the proposed changes do not need a sewer permit. The board stated that the project was in compliance and should continue as planned by the Geriatric Authority. There was no further action needed to be taken by the Board of Sewer Commissioners. I'm just asking as to whether the board feels that the meeting minutes from their meeting of September 25th, 2012 satisfies our needs.
Forgive me, but I don't know why they just couldn't send you a letter
I-
stipulating to what you just read, because I'm sure they didn't send you your meeting minutes. I'm sure that we obtained them.
That's correct.
With that said, clearly, I guess we have an answer. I think, though, that out of respect for this board, as we've always respected them, as we're doing so right now, I think that we should at least say to them, we understand that there is no net increase to you, but in the future, could you kindly just send us a letter to that effect so that we all look like we're on the same page? But with that said, I'll accept that, and I think it's foolish on their part not to be able to send us a letter, but I'll accept that.
Any other comments from the board?
No, I agree with Pat.
So with that being said, we can sign the plan tonight.
Sign the plan.
No,
This,
It's already
That's it.
signed, I'm holding it.
You can release
So we
it
can release the plan based on the letter.
of minutes.
And I guess, Larry, in response to Pat, I tend to agree that if we could just send a letter to the board just saying that we would appreciate, at least if they don't need to send us anything more than to say it's been previously before the board and approved, that they should at least comment on submittals that we have as we
Yeah.
expect to do on anything that they would send to us.
Yep. I need the rest of the packet, because he gets some of that.
Yep.
Okay, so you, Peter, so you get this. And then you get,
With that, we'll go to item 3, the Upper Childs Trail Phase 3 update. Chad Blumen, Eastland Partners.
Good evening. Looks like I'll probably come here every, maybe month to give you at least a update on the progress of the path now that we're actually in progress
Yeah.
and starting. So I think it'd be a good question and answer session. I'm sure there'll be more questions as we roll each month. But this fall, we did some preliminary work of, there were some small changes that Reno would know about, and Mike Santora regarding some handicap bench layouts and small changes in the plan. I think there was some fencing and things, so all that got clarified and all the plans were updated. So we have a real good set of plans right now to build. We completed the initial layout and all of our survey control, which is all we have everything on GPS for our company now, and that whole grid is set up, so it enables us to do some great layout work and machine work as well on GPS. We also met with the school as well with the regarding the playground on the Mount Pleasant Street location. And there's some finagling around with moving some structures and actually taking some swing sets apart and kind of reformulating some of the positions of some of the slides and things to make some things work. There's a few plans exist that Michael did draw up of how we were going to do that and how we were going to relocate some of that playground equipment on that existing play field out there as well. We also talked about that would do it, after school hours, before the school season began, and how we would fence off certain areas when the construction, so it wouldn't be a hindrance to the kids exiting and coming onto the field as well. Right now, we're out there, what I'm working on right now is the right-of-ways. There's a couple different things. We're looking at a couple different possibilities of utilization, possibly a private access as well as a town right-of-way access near a Carroll Street extension that would possibly use as a quick staging area perhaps to temporary store maybe material and things. There's an existing actual pavement that the town purchased, and we're kind of working with Larry and possibly the selectmen on maybe a possibility of getting an access to a critical point of the trail it'd be very helpful in the construction of it. The limit of clearing and silt fence identification, that's in progress right now. Carroll Street area has been done, probably about 900 feet has already been done, and that's in progress. That should be finished up probably about next 7-10 days. The whole section should be done. Tomorrow morning, walking with Vonnie to kind of bring her up to speed as well as some critical areas, some wetlands areas, some dumping areas that were kind of a nuisance area, and of course some access areas, and any I think there's a large retaining wall that's being built as well. So I'll get her kind of refreshed, and so she'll start to get on the same page as everybody.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, we'd like to start doing the erosion control in about 3 weeks out there, and early July have some of the tree work starting. So that's pretty exciting, and of course we'll let everybody know, at least 2 weeks in advance, so we can send possibly abutters out, or maybe there's some type of way of notifying some of those people that be aware the tree guys are coming.
That's great.
So just like I said, you just wanted to kind of bring you up initially up to speed, and I'm welcome to come here every month and give you a quick 5 minutes and tell you where we are, and maybe some new issues that Reno and I or Vonnie come up that might be a little bit critical, and we might need your input.
Yeah, that would be
great.
fine. That would be appreciated if you'd come in, if you'd schedule about once a month.
Yeah.
Any comments from the board?
No, I think
No.
it's great, really.
Yeah. Doing a good job getting that.
So far, yeah.
Good plan.
Sales are good,
Yeah,
so
great
it gives us the
plan,
money
yeah.
to do everything.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
Rena, do you have any comments?
As Chad pointed out, probably a few sticky points on this phase of the project. One of them is this Sacred Heart Playground, and they have sessions, they have school session in the school year, and they have summer session too. So we have to have a more refined schedule as to when they're going to get in there and reconfigure that playground so that the school can make alternate plans to not have the children there on those days. So it can't be open-ended. They have to have advance notice as to when they have to keep the children someplace else for the few days that might take. And then we probably ought to work on keeping the area secure until they need it. They need access of that segment for construction. Right now, there is a security fence parallel to Mount Pleasant Street. My idea, what I've been thinking about for a while, is we probably ought to keep that fence up for as long as we can and only take it down when they need to get access with their equipment, so that the school, they're very concerned about security of the children. So if our plan can be sensitive to that, work a schedule so date certain they have to stay out when we get in, I think Chad and I and the town engineer can work out those details.
It is good because the area is already pretty much flat and already grass down there, so I don't want to come in there and just start bombing the place off, and I'd rather do it in some simple stages and perhaps, manipulate a playground so they can still use a field and security fence it, get that done, and then move another structure so they can, kind of play obviously on the other part. And the grading, there's not a lot of grading, it's minimal changes through there, so it should be pretty good.
That may be something that, considering next month would be June, if you're coming in towards the end of June, if you have a general plan,
A
it would be.
concrete plan, yeah. Yeah.
Just a general idea, probably would be good to run it before us, just so we have an idea of what to be expected and what they may be expecting, just so we're up to speed with it. But I'll let you and,
Yeah.
I think between you, and town engineer, we can,
Yeah,
you
sure we
can work out a schedule.
Yeah.
And I've committed to the abutters to have an open process, so I can, when he's gonna get ready to do some clearing and grubbing, I can notify the abutters, and I have a mailing list, and we'll send them notice and make sure they keep up to speed and there's no surprises.
Chad, realistically, how much time do you need for that scope of work relative to the relocation of the playground? Realistically?
Realistically, I'd say, realistically, a week. Why I say that?
No. You don't need to justify.
Because there's an existing structure that I'm worried that it might not come apart.
And I remember this, when we discussed this a year ago, I remember, and my feeling at the time was, unfortunately, the structure doesn't belong there, and if something happens to it, I felt that you should not be responsible, if I recall a year ago.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about it.
No, and I understand that, but with that said, I mean, paramount safety to the kids is gonna be priority one. However, when we look at some of the other jobs, I can use the high school parking lot, that was performed as well as the fields and so on and so forth. What I have found in my experience is, it works very well when you say, this is the time I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think if you give them ample time, then they're generally willing to make the accommodations, but as long as you're realistic and a week doesn't turn into 2 weeks, and then unfortunately,
Right,
this is what
The last thing
happens.
I want to
But
do is,
I think you only have the summer time to do it, and I think if you give them advance notice, I'm sure that they can figure out what to do for 1 week's time. I think that's realistic, and I think that's the way you should.
yeah, and I think that's.
And I think sooner than later is probably a better angle for that.
I agree, yep, I agree,
So-
totally agree. Yep.
That would be my only concern.
Any other comments from the board?
No, I think he's doing a great job. Like
I
the
look forward
schedule.
to
Thanks
it
for coming in.
next month.
Yep, no,
Thanks,
thank you,
Chad.
thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you, Chad. You go look.
Next item on the agenda is we have a bond release for 13 Spruce Street. I have a letter from Gasco Auto
Did you finish
Services.
that?
Please release the bond for completed site work at 13 Spruce Street. The bond was submitted in the form of a check in the amount of $16,500 from Charles River Bank as surety for the curbing and sidewalk work. The bond should be released to Mr. Abraham Gerrich, owner of Gasco Auto Services. Respectfully, Barry McCarthy, manager of Gasco Auto Services.
Was it
Work been
something you
complete,
said?
Bonnie?
As I was leaving today, they were getting ready to do the final amount of paving, which is just along the curb line at both the two curb cuts. I did not have a chance before the meeting tonight in the pouring rain to go and check it. So if you'd like to release it contingent upon me inspecting it tomorrow morning.
They poured the cement?
My
Yes, the
preference,
sidewalks are done. The sidewalks are done, yeah.
Pavement's actually done. I just
They
don't know-
only
I don't
needed,
know.
they only needed about 2 yards of asphalt just along the curb.
I don't have a problem releasing the bond and putting it into your custody, but what I would like is a follow-up letter to this from you stating that the work has been performed, and in your opinion, it's fine to release the money.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna hold it up for another 2 weeks, but I don't have a problem doing that.
Yeah.
But I do want a letter for the file, because that's what, because
I'd be happy to do that.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah, normally,
normally we would get one from Mike, and that's the only way I would release it.
okay.
So I don't have a problem releasing it to your care, but before you sign off, make sure that there's a letter attached
It's done.
and that it's done, because once you give it, you can't get it.
Make sure
Right.
it's done.
I
I've
actually,
done it when they.
I actually came down by there, it is done, I just don't know the quality of the paving, I couldn't tell, but it is done. That being said, we have a motion to release the $16,500.
To Bonnie's care.
Provided that the town engineers accepted the work Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Seconded by John. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous at 4. Site plan waiver, 327 West Street, American Red Cross.
Is this what came from the zoning board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll read Larry's letter in. I guess there's nobody that's going to present on this.
Yeah, he had a meeting conflict.
That's fine, just let him
in
read.
Boston, so he's still in Boston.
Yeah, I think we've seen it before anyway. The applicant requests site plan waiver to allow for the placement of one 4x4 portable storage container at the above listed site as located on the attached site plan for the purpose of collection of used clothing. ZBL section 3.2.5.1 specifically provides for portable storage containers in commercial and industrial districts by special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. ZBA granted a special permit for this use at their 5/9/13 meeting. That decision is attached to our package. Storage container collection boxes will display on all 4 sides the Red Cross logo, the words clothing donations, as well as various instructions and other pertinent information. Proposed location is within the parking lot and will not generate any new traffic on the site. The proposed location was developed after consultation with staff and is situated so as to prevent interference with both vehicular and pedestrian circulation within each site. The proposed location is not within the public way or required front yard, therefore I recommend the request for waiver of site plan be approved. That was from the town engineer. Then we have the decision.
That was from the town planner.
The-
Can I
Town
go?
You might want to add this stuff.
I must be dyslexic or something. I can't figure out the fire department or the town engineer and town planner.
Can I just
This is
ask
from
This is from the.
Yeah, the decision's in there.
It's for 1 year.
Yeah, I think that they can only grant for 1 year. They have to come back every year is the way I
Right.
believe the,
And one storage container collection box.
Right.
yeah, there is only one on this site.
I just want
Why
to
is
ask
it
a
3?
question of clarity, because there's a second application.
Right.
That's why. It says the boxes will be maintained at least on a bi-weekly basis. What recourse does the town have, if any, if they turn into a blighted area whereas collections are not occurring, and that, I guess for lack of a better word, refuge is collected there rather than what the intended purpose is? What recourse, if any, does the town have?
They withdraw
The
the
town can pull a
special permit.
Who withdraws it?
Zoning board.
The ZBA, the
Okay,
zoning
I'm
enforcement,
just looking for clarity on this.
the zoning
because-
enforcement officer would send them a notice of
Okay.
violation. If they don't
Okay.
clean it up, then go right to the
Because that's
ZBA.
fundamental, for me
On any of
myself,
these.
that's my biggest concern with these, is that it's
Oh.
turning into
I totally agree with you.
something
Ken.
well beyond what
It-
what the
it
good use
really
is
is.
intended for.
Could,
That's the-
Mr. Chairman, could I just ask a question of Larry? Larry, could you let the board know how many of these boxes are around the town?
Been approved?
That have been approved? Could you
Yeah,
give
I'll-
us
Give us
that
a
number?
collection, that's a good
You know,
idea.
I'm not sure of the number.
And the
but-
location.
But if you could just,
Yeah.
for the next meeting, list
Yeah.
where they are and how many we have, I think we need to really look at this.
Well,
Well, I think they're pretty much done now.
Well, you know.
for years, it used to be the Salvation
One
Army.
doesn't know- right.
And that was the only place. Now, you know, I think you inevitably start diluting the purpose of what the intentions are.
So I'd like you to do that for us, Larry, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I'll make a motion to waive the site plan for
Motion to-
327.
Motion by Pat to grant the waiver of site plan. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that, too.
Seconded by John. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Unanimous at 4. Site plan waiver for 207 East Main Street, American Red Cross.
What the heck is that?
This is the same, effectively exactly the same. Town planner, I got that right this time, has indicated that he recommends the approval of the request for waiver of site plan. This is for the 207 East Main Street, the veterinary clinic, and the plan is shown in the back of that, off of Route 109, back of that
Yeah.
Oh,
package.
okay.
This is also one that we've seen previously.
Yeah.
This is off of the edge of the old driveway that used to go to the house on the property.
Yeah.
It's off of the frontage road area, Medway Street, the access to the CVS. But it is far enough back that they can meet the setback.
No.
And the decision is attached.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's gonna go to that one, but
Yeah.
that's to me.
I missed it.
I didn't understand it the first go-around.
Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion, we grant the waiver.
John makes a motion to grant waiver of site plan for 207 East Main Street, American Red Cross. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Lena. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous at 4.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
ZBA special permit, 81 Prospect Street, Peter Ferrelli. Read the town planner's letter. The applicant requests special permit approval to change from one non-conforming use to another on the subject property. The proposal is to change the existing Class 2 auto dealer's license to a new operator. The business is a long-standing non-conformatory in the RA zone, and no additions or changes to the property are proposed. Site plan submitted with this application is as approved by the planning board in 2007. The plan provides for required off-street parking for all uses, as well as specifically defined outdoor areas for vehicle sale display. Based on this plan, the site will accommodate display of 15 vehicles within the area so designated. Therefore, I recommend a favorable report be forwarded to the zoning board of appeals, subject to the outdoor display area for used vehicles shall be limited to 15 vehicles. Following the issuance of a special permit by the ZBA, site plan approval will be required by the planning board. And a copy of the locus is in the back, and a copy of the previous, section of the previous site plan is also in the back.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put the statement in about the site plan, but they still haven't closed the curb cut
No.
Since
I'm already
2000
tell you what my vote's gonna be.
since 2007, so when they come back, they can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Is this the one that's already selling cars?
Well,
This is
it
at
had
the corner
been
of Water
previously.
and Prospect Heights, or
Yeah, on the
Prospect
left-hand
Street.
side
I
on
know
the
where
top.
that-
on
this
the
is the
porch.
gas, this is the gas,
They
the oil
had-
change.
They have cars for
Speed
sale
lube
already.
or- Yeah,
They do whatever they want.
Well, they had.
this is a
they-
transfer of
This is
license.
a transfer of license.
Okay.
We'd originally approved
But they didn't,
that site
they didn't
for
close the,
usage.
well, I agree with Pat.
I'm not favoring this one, so if you're looking for a motion in
Well,
favor,
the
I'm
only
not
thing
giving it
is,
to you.
if we don't do it here, I mean, our one chance to make the change, based on where we are now, and them not doing it, is for have them to come back for site plan later on.
And I have no, unfortunately, you were nice in 2007, for all the good it did you. So it comes a point in time that you have to sometimes, stand the ground. That's just my opinion. I'm not favorable to it. And the other thing is,
He had a different, John hadn't started then, had he?
I don't know.
Is that a motion for an unfavorable?
I'll make a motion for unfavorable, certainly.
Motion by Pat to set an unfavorable recommendation to the ZBA. Do I hear a second?
What is the unfavorable gonna do?
To the ZBA?
Yeah.
Little if none. But,
Nothing.
I mean, you're asking,
No, seriously.
if we say yes, they say no. If we say no, they say yes. So I guess we should say yes so they can say no. I mean,
No, can we-
I really can't answer that,
Can you
honestly.
tell them why we're saying no?
Well,
We
I mean,
absolutely
we-
can.
We could certainly send, and we could send a favorable, provided that the ZBA decision requires them
That's what I would prefer.
to close to make good on all things within.
But so far, we've been able to keep site planning issues separate
In this
from
house, which it
the
should be.
ZBA's decisions to the extent possible, so that when you come back and when they come back for site plan approval, you can look at closing curb cuts as they were supposed to have done here. This is an enforcement issue.
Yeah.
It's not the new applicant's fault that the prior owner or somebody else didn't do what they were supposed to
The
do.
landowner is still the same, I would assume, but doesn't matter. I'm still unfavorable.
I have to think about this. So is the new owner going to take care of this curb cut, or?
Yes.
How do we have something in
Is it a
writing?
new owner or a new operator?
New operator.
Well, it's a new operator.
That's what it is. So what's
It's not a
changed?
new
Nothing.
owner.
So-
Nothing. That's my point.
Well,
not a new owner.
that'll be, it was on the first application, it hasn't been in compliance since.
Right.
So that's enforceable
Let's
right
just
now.
keep giving it to them.
It's enforceable now,
Yeah,
but it's changing to a new operator.
We can send a letter, but
And
we're
the
not
new-
going to do anything till the new owner gets it there.
And the new operator needs a Class 2 license, and a Class 2 license is going to have all these requirements as well.
Again, how many used
And
car
he's
lots
gonna
you
come
want the
back,
town
and
of
he's gonna
Milford
come
to?
here for a site plan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Yes,
complaining
Michael.
about storage box. How many used car lots we want
I
to
mean,
have?
I.
36.
36, let's go for 42. I mean,
Yeah, nice even number.
Well, that unfortunately isn't our purview either.
No.
But,
well, in theory it is.
Well, this would be a practical way to get compliance, because you got a new operator there. He's got to get his license, he's got to get his special permit, and he's got to come back here for the site plan approval.
well, and we can also send a letter to the town administrator and the board of selectmen that before they grant the change,
There you go.
they need to
Yes.
make some
That's what I was
changes on
looking
the,
Right, let's
Yeah.
do
on the
that.
site.
Right, right.
So at least we'll have that at this point in time if we go forward with it.
That kind of changes my mind a little bit.
Pat's got a motion.
Right now, Pat has motion, do I hear a second to the motion of an unfavorable recommendation to the zoning board?
I can lose a tooth tonight. Maybe the tooth fairy will come.
That being said, do I hear then somebody with motion for sending a favorable
I'll
recommendation?
make a motion, we send a favorable.
Motion by John to send a favorable recommendation to the ZBA. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Lena. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, I'm opposed to the favorables, yeah, I'm
You
sorry.
can make it 2-2.
No, no,
That's 3 in favor, one opposed.
I'm sorry, I thought,
I wasn't sure
I thought
whether
you
you were
just-
abstaining or,
no, I thought you just went on the assumption that I was,
no, I just wanted to make sure, because I wasn't, I
sorry.
thought you might have abstained.
no.
Did you have
That being
No reason
said,
for me to
I'll
abstain.
Joe sign
take a
those
motion
two?
to close tonight's meeting.
Motion, Joe.
Motion by John, seconded by Pat. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.